Machar's rebel group rejects cessation of hostilities, bringing the talks in Addis Ababa to a standstill. South Sudan says political detainees must be tried before release. And Christians in South Sudan pray for peace amidst political turmoil in the country. Welcome to SSTV News Hour with Rejoice, and now the full text of the news. We begin with Addis Ababa talks, where the rebel delegation of Dr. Machar has rejected to sign the document on cessation of hostilities that has been prepared and studied by the two teams. The document was meant to see the two parties stopping the ongoing political violence in the country. The talks have been halted as the mediation team takes a consultative visit to Riek Machar hideout before they resume negotiation to end the violence. Poth Johnson joins us from Addis Ababa, where the two parties have been negotiating the political crisis in the country.
Following the outbreak of armed conflict in the Republic of South Sudan since 15 December 2013, when a group of army loyal to Dr. Riek Machar planned the attempted coup, result into rebellion that caused offensive to citizens and raised anxiety and concern to the Republic of South Sudan and the whole African region and international community. The leadership of IGAD expressed concern during the summit convened on 17 December in Nairobi, Kenya, over the developing situation in the Republic of South Sudan. The IGAD called upon the two parties to stop hostilities and engage in dialogue to extend peaceableness the problem. In the face-to-face meeting process in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, which took 1 week from now, the IGAD plan to bring along the grave solution point to unfortunate situation that caused lives of innocent civilians, massive displacement, and property destruction.
They did very well. When people talk, they don't fight. And I would encourage Southern Sudan to go the way of dialogue. This is the best way to go. They have done it before, and they can do it again. This is not an unsurmountable problem, because it can happen. There can be forgiveness, and there can be change in Southern Sudan. The Southern Sudanese have a very big heart. They have a forgiving heart, and if they didn't exercise this forgiveness and resilience during the CPA, they would not have gotten where they are today.
As a result of talk, the two parties enriched and endorsed the following principle: modalities of South Sudan dialogue, rule of procedures for dialogue, and term of reference for dialogue between the government of the Republic of South Sudan and rebel and Dr. Riek Machar rebel who baptized themselves as SPLM in the opposition. The negotiation is now 1 week, but the government of the Republic of South Sudan has shown her readiness to the IGAD and to the international community since the beginning.
Negotiating in Addis Ababa, here in Addis Ababa, that they should remember what they fought for the 21 years. That they now are free, they are independent. That does not mean that they should take the people of South Sudan back to war.
As I speak to the government spokesperson, Minister of Information and Broadcasting, Michael McQueen, to enlighten more about the government readiness in the negotiation.
We, since the time we arrived here, we have been receiving documents after documents, exchanging documents with the IGAD, and the objective of all this is to reach peace agreement and sign the cessation of hostilities agreement as soon as possible. We are optimistic that soon we will be in a position to sign the cessation of hostilities so that we take peace back to our people. In the cessation of hostilities, there shall be monitoring mechanisms that will be put in place after the signing of the agreement. And these monitoring mechanisms will ultimately be a body that will to ensure the proper implementation of the cessation of hostilities, and that the parties adhere to the cessation of hostilities. That is the situation in which we are. We are committed to peace, and to peace we shall work. For peace we shall work, and ensure that we take peace back to our people in South Sudan soon.
Today in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, one of the crucial documents known as cessation of hostilities was to be signed, but the lying law of the rebel groups who are loyal to Dr. Machar has made it not to happen. They are still insisting to the last document, which is political issues, that including the problem of detainees. The problem of detainees should to be the boiling point and a smoke screen for the rebel to get support and to achieve what they want. But what we learn is totally different. Detained politicians deny not to be part and parcel of the massive killing and displacement of the innocent civilians. Therefore, Dr. Machar rebel claim the arrest politicians to be their masterminders and the strong members of the group. The claim of Dr. Machar rebel is striking confusion, but the special envoys of the IGAD, led by Ambassador Simboyo Maspin of Ethiopia, General Lazarus Samboyo of Kenya, and General Mohammed Hamed Masapa Al-Dabi of Sudan, who are the mediators of talk, are now seriously working to restore peace and stability to the Republic of South Sudan. Reporting for SSTV in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, Port Johnson Matura Cage.
And the Council of Ministers has unanimously rejected all forms of pressure to release the political detainees. This position was made on Saturday during an extraordinary meeting chaired by the President of the Republic, General Salva Kiir Mayardit. The Council hailed the National Army for their performance in retaking Bentiu and commitment to restore peace and order in the country. The extraordinary meeting was attended by presidential advisors and the two speakers of upper and lower houses. Speaking to reporters following the meeting, the Minister of Cabinet Affairs, Dr. Martin Elia Lomuro, said it is clear that the detainees are part of the forces that carried out the December 15th failed coup attempt led by Dr. Riek Machar. The
President called for an extraordinary expanded meeting of the Council of Ministers, the advisors, and the speakers of the two houses, that of the Council of States and the legislature. There are two agenda points really in this meeting. The first was to brief the Council of Ministers and the extended meeting on the military situation in our country. And as we all know, our army have gone very well. They're doing very well in Bentiu and are progressing in the other front of Bor. We do not intend to say much on this particular agenda point. The second agenda point was on the continued pressure that is being exerted unnecessarily on the President for the release of the detained suspects of the aborted coup d'etat, led by Dr. Riek Machar, the leader of the rebels. The President briefed the Council that he was under enormous pressure from envoys, from presidents, from IGAD, and various other individuals in the international community. And that as the President, he cannot make a decision on this particular issue because he has a government behind him, he has legislature, both the upper house and the lower house, and that anything that he will decide must be based on the spirit of collective responsibility. It is on this basis that the President called for this meeting. Speaker after speaker in the meeting expressed their views and unanimously rejected the release of detainees without following the due process of the Constitution, of the laws, and the laws of the Republic of South Sudan.
Thousands of faithful drawn from all the churches gathered in the capital Juba on Saturday to pray for peace and stability in the country following the current crisis that emerged after the failed coup attempt. The prayer for peace held at All Saints Cathedral, led by the Archbishop of the Episcopal Church of Sudan, Dr. Daniel Dengbul, who urged the nation to repent and return to God for peace to prevail in the country. Jackie Daru has more on the story.
Thousands of faithful drawn from all churches gathered in the capital Juba on Saturday to pray for peace and stability in the country following the current crisis that emerges after the failed coup attempt. The prayers for peace held at All Saints Cathedral is being led by the Archbishop of the Episcopal Church, Dr. Daniel Dengbul, who urges the nation to repent and return to God for peace to prevail in the country. Archbishop Dengbul advocated for peace and urged the general public to respect religious rights and humankind, imploring citizens to embrace the spirit of forgiveness, peace and reconciliation and coexist together towards nation building.
And I believe our government is listening to the church. And I believe our brother Riek Machar and his people are listening to us. This prayer is, we are crying to God that we reject the war going on in our country.
The Catholic Bishop Emeritus Paride Taban appealed to the entire populace of this nation to reconcile and act with decorum and serve the country with due diligence.
We are all feeling this pain that our strong SPLA who fought to bring the flag of independence now.
وجد في قلوب بتاعنا لأنه الناس القويين اللي شاركوا في مصراع عشان يجيبوا الاستقلال تبلد بتاعنا.
I'm sure the true national armies are paining in their hearts.
Meanwhile, the Speaker of National Assembly, Manas Magog Rundial, says there can be no nation that is run on tribal basis, calling on the communities to accept one another as people with a common destiny.
And they felt that Salva Kiir must be given time to see his wits.
والشعب قال خلي سلفا كير ياخذ الوقت بتاعه في السلطة.
Is Salva Kiir in position of uniting the southern people?
وإذا سلفا كير في موقع عشان يوحد الجنوبين.
And we have noticed some unification which Salva has made.
ونحن قدرنا نشوف بعيوننا قدر شنو في وحدة حاصل.
Motive was brought from the north by Salva.
متيب جابوه من الشمال بواسطة بتاعت سلفا كير.
Bapin was actually brought by Salva from the north.
قيادات تانين كمان جابوه بواسطة بتاعت رئيس سلفا كير.
لما كول was disgruntled and now brought by Salva.
لما كول كمان رئيس جابوا جوا البلد.
ياو yesterday brought by Salva.
وياو كمان هسه انضم للبلد بقى بواسطة الرئيس.
What unity really do you want?
نحن دارين يعطوا وحدة تاني.
A person to unite you.
الإنسان اللي مفروض يوحدكم.
And therefore we try to make coups.
وبنقوم نحاول نفكر نعمل انقلابات.
Without giving chance to this person who is trying to unite you.
بدون ما ندي فرصة للزول اللي داري يوحدنا عشان يستمر يوحدنا.
Actually, you are tribes, southerners.
إحنا كقبائل في جنوب السودان.
But we have become a nation.
لكن هسه إحنا بقينا دولة.
But the tribe should not overlap nationalism. Tribalism.
القبيلة مفترض ما ينتصر على البلد على الشعب.
The nation is above everything.
الشعب أو الدولة فوق لأي حاجة تانية.
Show me a country which is actually inhabited by a tribe.
The December 15 failed coup attempt left young girls and boys of this nation restless with their hopeless hearts, asking a lot of questions about their unknown future.
As voiceless as I am, as helpless as I am, where do I belong? Where do I belong? My soul is restless. My heart is hopeless. My future is unknown. I am a South Sudanese. I am a South Sudanese. If you kill me, you will kill a South Sudanese, but not my tribe. If you kill me, you will kill a South Sudanese, but not my tribe. Why do we kill ourselves? Is it because of power? As wearable as I am dispersed of my right. That I stood watching down my dream going down the drain. I am a child, I don't need power. I am a mother, I don't need power.
We are the fruits of one tree called South Sudan. Since 1955, we shot the bullets of our freedom into reach. Until 1972, we got our freedom through Addis Ababa Agreement.
Perhaps this method can help. Jackie Darrow, SSTV.
And Unity State Deputy Governor Mabek Lang has called for an urgent humanitarian aid to the displaced persons in Pariang County following destructions caused by the forces of the failed coup attempt led by Dr. Riek Machar. The rebels had destroyed many property and left many people homeless in the area. Unity State Deputy Governor Mabek Lang, who led a delegation from Juba to assess the situation on the ground, told SSTV in Pariang County, citing challenges facing locals there, including food, medicine, and safe drinking water, among others.
Displaced persons in Pariang County following the destruction caused by the forces of the failed coup attempt led by Riek Machar. The rebel has destroyed many properties and left many people homeless in the area. Unity State Deputy Governor Mabek Lang, who has led a delegation from Juba to assess the situation on the ground, told SSTV in Pariang County that the local have run shortage of food, medicines, and even safe, clean drinking water after a rebel devastated homes and burned down grains in the farm.
We are not for war, we are for peace. And we are looking peace, and we are supporting the peace initiative, peace talk that is taking place in Addis Ababa, that we are supporting it, and we will see that this peace actually this talk has brought peace to the people, the younger nation. We came out from war, since the independence of the whole Sudan, we had been war. And lastly, we have received and gained our independence, so there is no need for us to kill ourselves or to rebel against ourselves. We are here for building new nation, to build our nation, build peace building and nation building. These are my message to the people of the Republic of South Sudan, general, and the people of Unity State.
The situation in generally will need an urgent intervention. We are appealing to all the citizens to be calm. The government of Unity State is working to see that all the services are restored once security is put in place in the whole of Unity State. On behalf of our governor, Dr. Joseph Maintwil Wijang, I'm extending his wishes and gratitude to the authorities in the county here that have assisted in stabilizing the situation.
Meanwhile, Unity State Minister of Labor and Public Service Benjamin Mijak described the manner in which the rebels destroy property that has led to massive displacement of people in the county.
مررنا على 3 أيامات اليوم لتفقد الأحياء اللي تم حرقها بواسطة قوات التمرد اللي مر بمنطقة بانيان مرورا بأدومبوك حتى أثون المسمى بتور، ووجدنا أن كثير من المواطنين تم نزعهم نتيجة لهذه الأحداث.
The rebels' activities in the country. On her behalf, a member of the Council of States, Mary Ayen, condemned the massive destructions committed by Machar forces in the oil fields, accusing Machar and his group of lacking the spirit of nationalism, as shown by their destructive activities in the oil production centers in Pariang.
Been here so that to see the situation, the way our people are suffering. And as you see, we are here in production. This is one of the oil stations. If you have been looking into all the offices here, everything is looting. Many damage has taken place here. So I believe this is not what we wanted for the building of this nation.
Reporting for SSTV News, I'm Emmanuel Malwal.
The management of Nile Petroleum Corporation, led by the National Minister of Petroleum, Mining and Industry, Stephen Dudau, handed donations of pharmacological support to victims of the recent violence in Juba. Jane Awadia reports.
The management of Nile Petroleum Corporation, led by the National Minister of Petroleum, Mining and Industry, Stephen Dudau, handed donations of pharmacological support to victims of the recent violence in Juba. The minister also assessed the condition of the patients in the hospital.
نقدر نعمله على مستوانا بنقدر نعمله وبنعمله كحكومة بنعمله لكن هنا كواحد كجسم واحد قربنا إنه مستشفى ده لازم ناخد يدينا كلنا كحكومة.
In the military hospital, Brigadier General Dr. Peter Ajak thanked the government and well-wishers for supporting the patient in the hospital. He appealed to the people of goodwill to donate blood to the wounded in the hospital.
ناس نايل باك في شخصية بتاع الوزير اللي هو ستيفن ديو اللي هو رئيس مجلس الإدارة وزير بتاع البترول والرئيس المانجينج دايركتور بول مع التيم بتاعه بالحاجات البسيطة اللي
In a separate development, the management of Nile Petroleum Corporation also donated pharmacological support to Bor, Bantu, and Malakal towns, respectively. Dudau said the current situation requires solidarity of everybody, regardless of nationality, political color, to assist the vulnerable and soldiers in safeguarding the national constitution and territorial integrity of the country.
Giving out some items, food items, medical supplies. We know they are a small fraction of what is needed for the situation, but we had wanted to show to Her Excellency that NIPED is with the people of South Sudan under these tremendous difficulties. That is what I want to say this also.
While the Minister of Gender, Awud Deng Achwil, appreciated the donation and described it as vital, she said the aid will be distributed to the destined areas.
I want to register my sincere thanks to my colleague, Comrade Dio, the Minister of Petroleum, and Chairman, for this great support. I don't think, as the Minister said, this is a little, it's not little, it's a huge support that will go immediately to our people who need this, especially women and children, and the wounded in the hospital. I think this is a great support from the ministry, from the commission, from the company, NIPED, which is our national company. And I think is what you mean, the resilience of people of South Sudan. I'm sure all the institutions have from day one.
Reporting for SSTV News in Juba, I'm Jane Awadia.
Let's go for a break and we will be back shortly.
From South Sudan. My dad is a great Equatorian. My mother is a Shulu. Where do I belong? Where do I belong? As voiceless as I am, as helpless as I am, where do I belong? Where do I belong? you kill me, you will kill a South Sudanese, but not my tribe. If you kill me, you will kill a South Sudanese, but not my tribe. Why do we kill ourselves? Is it because of power? As wearable as I am dispersed of my right. While I stood watching down my dream going down the drain. I am a child. I don't need power.
Those were voices of children calling for peace in the country. And to continue with, Juba Teaching Hospital has received series of donations from a number of non-government organizations to maintain the standard of operation to help nurture the victims of the failed coup attempt in the country. The Real Medical Foundation, RMF, a South Sudanese organization, has doubled its supply to the hospital by donating over 7 tons of medical assortment. Eddie has more.
Juba Teaching Hospital has received a series of donations from a number of non-governmental organizations to maintain the standard of operation to help nurture the victims of the failed coup attempt in the country. The Real Medical Foundation, RMF, a South Sudanese organization, has doubled its supply to the hospital by donating over 7 tons of assorted medicines and chemical reagents. The pile of donation was received by the medical director of Juba Teaching Hospital, Dr. Wani Lolik, and Dr. Mohamedin Ahmad Mohamedin, who is the director of Central Medical Stores in Juba.
And my colleague and brothers, Director General of Juba Teaching Hospital, Dr. Wani, we are part of the task force. The committee which was formed by Under Secretary so as to handle all the different cases, and we are in emergency throughout here in Juba Teaching Hospital in the office of Dr. Wani so as to face and to handle all the cases.
In a separate development, the Indian community in Juba has made an outstanding charity by donating more than 66 packets of blood to Juba Teaching Hospital to help the wounded patients who are nurturing wounds in the hospital.
We as a community who are based in South Sudan, we always associate ourselves with our brothers and sisters of South Sudan. And always we try to do our best where we can help our brothers and sisters from South Sudan. We have been doing medical camps. We have helped some schools to be renovated, and also some donations to orphanage and many other places.
Meanwhile, the medical director, Dr. Wani Lolik, said Indian community have made a brotherly move to support the hospital save lives.
This came about after the Indian community leaders visited Juba Teaching Hospital. We were able to go around the hospital and they saw for themselves and actually pledged to do 3 things. That is to donate blood, to provide food items, and to remove the mountain of garbage which they saw by themselves. They were actually moved when they went into the wards of the injured people, and they decided just from today to donate blood. This has never happened with other donors, but the Indian communities have decided to donate their blood in order to save the souls of the Southern Sudanese. A drop of blood is life. A bag of blood is life. And this is the most expensive donation a human being can donate to a brother. I don't have the words really to express my gratitude and my gratefulness to the Indian community for what they have pledged and what they are doing now.
The Indian team is committed to improve sanitation in the hospital in due course. Eddie Stephen, SSTV News, Juba.
And the Ministry of Gender, Child, Social Welfare, Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management has delivered food items to the displaced persons who are currently camped at Machar Secondary School in Juba. These are the people who are displaced from Bor when the rebel took the town, and others were returnees from Ethiopia. The government has appealed to the humanitarian agencies to assist the internally displaced persons.
The Ministry of Gender, Child, Social Welfare, Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management has delivered food items to the displaced persons who are currently camped at Machar Secondary in Juba. These are the people who were displaced from Bor when the rebel took the town, and others are returnees from Ethiopia. Speaking to reporters, the director of the Emergency and Preparedness in the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Alison Barnabas, said the assistance will help the displaced persons. Alison appealed to the humanitarian agency to assist the internally displaced persons.
There's a little what we have brought to them, because the group who arrived yesterday from Ethiopia, we decided to assist them because they came at evening hours. There was no enough food, and today we try to find out whether we can give them with something to have while we wait for more.
The State Director for Relief and Rehabilitation Commission of Jongole, Gabriel Deng Ajak, urged the citizens to build confidence and embrace peace.
To the IDPs that were affected by the conflict from different parts of the country. Some of them arrived yesterday from the Ethiopia-South Sudan border, who had fled the conflict from the bordering areas of Akobo and from part of Upper Nile. They were flown from Bongo to Juba. Today we are giving them food assistance comprising of beans, rice, oil, biscuits, and more are being organized for those who will arrive later in the day or tomorrow. This morning we also dispatched a flight to Arab states